Okay, drift here. Second take of this video because I kind of fucked up the first one and it was just me stuttering for like 17 minutes and I was going to edit through that. So here's a quick rundown on everything we're going to do. I'm going to show you a brush that is very similar to what GEGE GEGE uses, and I'm going to show you my process of using it in this drawing. I used to have another version of this brush on my iPad, but unfortunately I deleted, when I transferred over to my PC, I couldn't transfer that brush and its settings over, and unfortunately I forgot to download the brush and actually update the settings on it to match that one. Here's some drawings I did with that version of the brush. I'm going to try and recreate it, but unfortunately I don't have access to it, so I'm just going to show you the base one and you can just modify it from there. You can get used to it, you can modify the settings so it does what you want. There is a way to get to do this little thing where it's like a little blotch of ink and then it fades out, so it's like a little comma shape pretty much if you want to put it like that. I put my brush like that. I'm not entirely sure how I did it, to be honest, because it's been a month or two now and I've just been putting it off, but I'm gonna pretty much go through this and I'm gonna show you. So here we have the Mameo. Here's one I tried replicating my brush style on. It did not work. It looks like complete ass. But here's this one. I'm going to put a screenshot up of the store page, that way you know which one you're getting. And it's completely free. You need Clip Studio Paint, obviously, and you can either subscribe to that or you can buy it for like an entire version, and then you get a discounted upgrade. But pretty much I'm going to go through here and I'm going to show you what to do. So put this down to here. I like 10% personally. You're going to get the black or whatever colour really. You're going to mess around, see what size is good for your current drawing. I like 30 for this one. That seems good. And you're pretty much just going to draw with it normally, but you're going to notice something. It has its own unique sort of effect where it goes very thin and very thick. And this is what I think the strength of the brush really is. It's this sort of like uniqueness in the line size, even though you've got it set to the same amount and you're using the same amount of pressure. And I'm pretty much just going to go through here and I'm just going to, once it gets to a point where I think it's important, I'm going to tell you like my personal thoughts on it. And I'm going to show you like how I would do things. So sit back and enjoy like the 2-minute time lapse, or however long this takes. Now obviously you're going to notice something. It's a bit hard to actually, you know, well, it's not hard necessarily, but it's a bit messy, this brush, and I think that's what gives it like that unique sort of style. Obviously GEGE's a lot cleaner with his brush strokes than I am, but I ain't really focusing too much on like that sort of stuff here. I'm just kind of doing this so where I can show you lot the actual brush like in action. And then, you know, obviously the difference between me quickly sketching this out for a YouTube video and you spending hours upon hours of your life so that way an AI could then replicate it and use it with 0 credit to you is completely different. So, whoops. It doesn't really matter because we're going to be filling this in afterwards, but needless to say, you still kind of want to make your lines somewhat clean. Not the cleanest, like when you know you're going to be filling them in with black, but other than that, you just kind of want to do it like this. You just don't really want it overlapping with places you know are going to be inside the white. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Obviously, you know, it's not perfect or anything, but it's good enough. At least for demonstration purposes. And yeah, there you go. That's sort of pretty much the base we're going to be using for the demonstration. As you can see, it's a pretty easy brush to work with. It's a bit random, but it's not so random where you can't make something that looks good with it. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to go in and actually fill in like all the gaps. So we're going to go to the paint bucket tool, we're going to refer to other layers, and if we did it right, boom. And if we did it right, whatever. Sure, that's good enough, I guess. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go back here, and if you really want to get that GEGE look, you'll notice in a lot of his drawings, he, let me get one up for you. He uses, like, blotches in the actual highlights. I take that as a way of him, like, showing a transition in the shadow, so it sort of goes like this. And you just kind of want to make it somewhat random, but also like you're clearly showing like what's going on. You know, it isn't so random where it just looks like complete dog shit, but you know, you can still tell that it's meant to be a shadow. Obviously my style's going to be a lot different from GEGE's because, you know, GEGE's been a professional artist for like years. I'm just an idiot on the internet. And pretty much it's going to go something like this. And so that's the easy part, like shading in like the clothes. That's kind of easy, all things considered, at least compared to, you know, shading in the skin. When you're going to shade in the skin, you have to kind of take into account like the scene itself and like the hair. You kind of want to, I don't want to give you the wrong idea because I'm obviously not perfect at replicating GEGE's style, but pretty much you want to go like this. You want to use very thin lines to denote shadows, and you want to use very thick lines to denote like scuff marks, blood. You want to add in like very random lines to denote close tearing. You kind of just want to get manga panels and use them as reference, if that makes sense. You don't want to just rely on like all the nonsense I'm spouting here. Also, you'll notice you will notice with GEGE that he tends to use a lot of very messy hatching lines. Like he'll use a blend of very straight, very separate lines, and he'll use like these where it goes like that. And you really can just sort of use whatever looks good to you. There's no real right way to do this, as we're just really speculating on what GEGE's brush is and like how he modified it, because we don't know. We just don't know. That's just a fact. We don't know what brush he uses. For all I know, he uses real G-pen and he's just like completely messed with it. But as far as we can tell, and I can tell, it's Mameo pen. There's a different pen, but it's the Mameo pen. I'll put it, like I said, I'll put a screenshot up again, just that way we all know what one I'm referring to, like on the store page, because Mameo has a lot of different things. I like his pencil personally for sketching, and also like his actual pen. So I'm just going to go in here, add in little hatches he adds in his hair sometimes. Wow. When he determines when to actually add these in, I'm not sure. I feel like it is just kind of random at times, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, so something like that pretty much. Oh yeah, and if you want to add in the finishing touches, you're going to want to go here and hold up. Let me make sure. Okay. Just had to make sure my OBS was actually catching it because I have an overlay on my second monitor with like a reference picture. So you're going to want to select grey. Now, the thing with grey is you wouldn't think you'd want this normally for drawing, but it actually allows you to do this thing where if you go here, you can see I'm selecting like an actual colour in the bottom, but it comes out grey. This pretty much means that you don't have to like rely on doing this. You have this entire colour spectrum, and it lets you get if you're going to use like an oil brush or something, it lets you get very precise blends, and if you know like what colours should be on the human skin, you can actually use them to blend, and that's a very useful tool. Now you're going to want to go up here, like if you want to replicate the clothes effect, you're going to go tone, frequency 85. I just like putting it 85 so I don't have to think about it. You're going to pick a sort of this shade, yeah, like that. That's a good shade, and this is actually a thing that you can go back and change later if you don't like it. Because we're not using a brush but we're using an effect, we can change how many dots there are. 59, for example, like that. Go in here, and this can denote highlights. This is like just pretty much what I wanted to show you all. It's a very useful brush, and it doesn't have... Oh, it's a very useful brush, and it's very versatile, and you can mimic it a lot. Like I said, I have these I've done with a modified version of the brush. You can get incredibly detailed with this brush if you devote the time to it. These took me a few days because I'm a procrastinating bastard who does not like spending a lot of time on things, and my back started hurting after like a few hours of drawing each time. So yeah, that's it pretty much. Hope you enjoyed this little demonstration, and if you liked it, please like, comment and subscribe. You know, give me a little bit of motivation. I actually know that people like this and want to see more. Okay, that's it. Bye bye.